What's happening, guys? Welcome to the Russell Hantz Show. I'm your host, Russell Hantz. So, last episode, I have a few things I want to say about that tribal council, but that's in the next video. First, I'm going to do the player's performance and the Russell crown. No matter how hard it is this week to give a crown, I'm still going to do it. And now, before I get started, I want to make a few things clear. This is the player's performance. This is about Survivor. This has nothing to do with anybody's personal life. I'm not judging anybody by their personal business. This is the player's performance and about the game of Survivor, the game. So, for instance, Marianne. What Marianne did, we'll start with her. What she did by giving up her idol was a absolutely horrible game move. Now, for her personally, it was such a big move for her personally that she thought that she had to do it and risk $1 million. Now, if that's the deal for her, then go for it. In the game of Survivor, that move was bad. She gave up an idol just for a cause that she believed in, which, like I said, if it was a Russell's honorable, who has the best heart episode, that's not what it is. This is the player's performance. So, like I said, Marianne had the worst. Now, they had a lot of bad moves this episode, and we'll go through them and talk about them. But the move Marianne made is, I'm sure, the one that everybody's thinking about. That move wasn't a good move. She gave up her idol. She gave her idol away for what she believed was a good cause, not in the game of Survivor. Next. Let's move on to Roxroy. Now, Roxroy, man, this whole episode is I don't know if you call it tragic. What word can you use? Name one word. Put it in the comment below how you can describe this episode. I think they're going to lose viewership. They started gaining back. Started gaining again. I just think next episode they'll lose a couple of 100,000. I mean, it is what it is. Roxroy, he tried to start playing the game finally, right? So start playing hard, which I was like, oh, look at Roxroy go, trying to play the game. But if you go from 0 to 100 real fast, your name better be Omar. Because people look at people differently. And this shade, I know this whole lighting's messed up, but people look at people differently according, I don't know, to how they view them, how aggressive they are when they talk to them. Roxroy wanted an all-guy alliance, and, he goes to High. Bad mistake if he thought that High would be like, even High said, why does he think that would work with me? And I think because of that, he was in trouble right off the bat, going with a heavy strategic play, another bad move, another Survivor player that should still be there if he wouldn't have made that bad move. And another bad move. So we'll move on. Next, Tori. Probably should talk about Tori last, but she's on my list here. Tori got the weenie. That's what I like to say. She got the weenie this episode because she went home regardless of gameplay. She went home due to other circumstances. Like I said, right after this, I'm going to get a better lighting for the next one, and I'm going to talk about the tribal council, everything about that and how I feel about that. But this is a different show. So Tori, she couldn't have, nothing she could have done. She could have got the shot in the dark. That's all she could have done at this point in time. Yes, she should have went for it. She didn't have anything else to do. I've been giving Tori a bad time as well and thought she was, just playing aggressively and wasn't that good of a player. She went home not specifically to her bad gameplay, because she wasn't the target. I guess if she would have been the target, it's so confusing because who would have been the target if Drea, she plays the idol successfully, and then would it have been Marianne or probably Tori? So Tori was always in trouble, but she was squeezing out of it pretty easily and pretty successfully. So she's gone. She's gone. Next, Romeo. Now this player's performance and the Russell Crown. The Russell Crown is very hard for me this episode, and I was like, well, who possibly could have got it? I'm not giving it to High. We'll get to why in a little bit. Romeo, I could give it to Romeo. Romeo actually, he had to have done something because him and High got together. His butt was on the line. He saved it. So he was in trouble. Then he wasn't in trouble. Such bad gameplay, man. Because Romeo and High get together and vote out Roxroy. Like, why don't you get together and vote out somebody that actually is dangerous in this game strategically? Like Romeo, High. Why wouldn't you vote out Romeo? That whole move was crazy to me, and I didn't quite understand how it went down, but it went down like that. So Romeo is, he did well. He saved himself. You can't say, they're starting to get a lot more paranoid, but Romeo's trying to save himself every step of the way, and he did. So good job on Romeo for saving himself. Next, Jonathan. Jonathan did what a lot of people thought that he couldn't do and win in a challenge where you had to have small feet and balance. He obviously probably has giant feet, and you wouldn't think he was a balanced guy, but he came basically second place to Tori on 2 other balance challenges, and he kicked butt on this balance challenge with the waves and the big feet. That's hard to do. He did it. Great play again physically by him. Now we get to see Jonathan try to finally play the game strategically. He doesn't even know what's going on strategically. He breaks down a plan in his mind. He wants to get rid of the idols. He wants to get rid of Drea. And then he tells Marianne, first of all, that's the wrong mistake. Why are you telling Marianne that? Aren't you trying to go for Tori? Isn't she the target? Why would you do that? So he talks to Lindsay, and she's like, wait, then you know that if Drea plays the idol, then our alliance that helps us with these other idols, as she thinks, will go home. And he's like, let me rethink this. Maybe we'll get back to this, talk about this later. It just shows that Jonathan doesn't think deeply when it comes to strategic play in this game. Another bad move. Terrible move, Roxroy. Terrible move, High. Terrible move, Jonathan. Terrible move, Marianne. And I have to do a player's performance on these people. Let's move on. Next, Omar. Omar is playing a super solid game. He is my number 1 guy at this point. He's my number 1 horse. He's running hard, and he's staying in the lead. For some reason, nobody's seeing him as a strategic threat. Omar is a huge strategic threat, and he's going to bite them, all of them. If they don't see that soon, they're going to see it while they're at Ponderosa. It looks like I'm at Ponderosa. Man, this shadow, I don't like this shadow, but yeah, they're gonna see sooner or later that, oh, maybe we should have got rid of Omar instead of Roxroy. Please, what is going on? Next, High. Terrible move. High gets rid of Romeo, the guy that wrote his name down, the guy that lied in his face. That guy. High gets with that guy, and is like, oh, let's align together. Let's do this. Let's align together and get out this dangerous player, Roxroy. Let's make sure we get out this dangerous player because he's talking an all-guy alliance. Wait a second, guys. Aren't you guys? Boys? Dudes? That means you're safe. You're safe. How about get rid of the guy that's gunning for you? I'm blown away with this episode. It was such a bad episode. Because so many bad moves in the game. Next, Lindsay. This is an episode Lindsay kind of looks okay in. Kind of looks good in. She doesn't get the player's performance. She still looks the same way she's always looked. Plain and not really doing much. But everybody making terrible moves. And her just staying the same kind of makes her better, look better. She says Jonathan's going crazy. She had some good takes at the live tribal council. Or the tribal council. So, yeah, she did okay. And if okay almost won her the Russell crown without doing anything. Because it was such a bad episode with bad gameplay. You know how I feel? I'm super passionate about the game of Survivor. I want to see people play the game. Like I go back to what I said at the beginning. Marianne, I get it. She feels it. It's something that she thinks she needed to do. I think gameplay. In the world of Survivor, and a realist when it comes to playing a purist, playing that game of Survivor, it's a bad move. I don't care what you say. It's a bad move. In the world of Survivor, that was a bad move. She gave away an idol that she didn't have to give away. In the real world of soul searching, that's a good move. We ain't soul searching in Survivor. Next, Mike. So Mike stabs Roxroy in the back. He says it's something he'll never do. That's the thing, guys. I don't care how honorable you think you are. Sooner or later, you're going to have to stab somebody in the back and be dishonorable. Mike did that. He couldn't stick to his guns. He had to, stab Roxroy in the back because Hy told him to. Mike has no strategic game. He's a follower. He does what everybody else tells him to do. So he definitely doesn't win the Russell Crown. Because he's just following everybody. He's not really that good in challenges. He has an excellent social game. That's it. That's Mike. And does he really have an excellent social game? He just lied to somebody in their face and stabbed them in the back. So now that's up in the air. You tell me. Next. What y'all all been waiting for, and that's Drea. Drea wins the Russell Crown. I'm going to tell you why. Now, I'm not going to get into the live tribal with this player's performance. Like I said, that's a different show. That's coming next. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll know when it hits. Drea wins the Russell Crown because she saved herself. Now, she was in trouble. She was going home. I didn't find her to be aggressive at all. I didn't see that. She was speaking her mind, and she also got emotionally involved in the episode. Now, if she wouldn't have got emotionally involved in that episode, she would have went home. If she wouldn't have seen what Jeff was putting down, because I seen it, Boo from Survivor Fiji was with me. We was both watching Jeff ask her the questions. Jeff was basically telling her out loud, "You're going home." And she seen that, and she had her take on the two people of color that were already voted out. That bothered her, and you seen it immediately that bothered her. You seen it in her face. You seen it. I want to go back to Marianne. I'm going to do this. I'm going to probably say this again, but I wanted to say that I seen that when Marianne got there, she was shaking code. It didn't seem like it bothered her at all until Drea spoke up. Rewatch the last tribal, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Because I watched it just now again, because I like to watch things twice, like I say, to get a better perspective. Now, I have somebody message me and say, it's terrible what she did because she would have she let her emotions get the best of her. Well, if she wouldn't have, she would have went home. She got emotionally involved, and she's like, not today, not me, not now. Her point was not 3 people of color are going to go 1, 2, 3. That was her point. That's also personal. That's also not gameplay. But she saved herself. She was in big trouble. She was not aggressive. We do not see Drea being an aggressive person. We don't see it this entire game. She's constantly calm. We seen a little bit last night, her breaking down because she got emotionally. She let her heart involved in the show, which is hard not to do. And we seen that happen live. Still, when that happened, we seen her, basically for me, what I seen, she still was somewhat controlling herself. She said when she came and wanted to play Survivor, the first thing that she wanted to make sure she would do is stay calm. Because of how people think about people of color when they don't stay calm. I think she's been doing a great job of staying calm. A lot of people are on the fence about this. A lot of people hate her now. I don't see why. You shouldn't hate her. You know, she didn't do anything wrong. She's just following her heart. And if it was just that and she would have used that idol just because, and she wasn't in trouble, but she was going home, she saved herself. So she wins the Russell Crown, and that's all I got for you guys. I'm going way deeper into the Tribal Council right after this, somewhere else with better lighting. It looks like I'm getting darker and darker. I don't know if that's the sun or what's happening here. So that's coming next. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Appreciate you guys watching the show. That's all I got for you. Until next time, keep hope alive.